In the deep, unexplored jungles of Southeast Asia, there lives a ghost. A creature so mysterious, it was completely unknown to the world until just a few decades ago. They call it the Asian unicorn. This isn't a creature of myth, but a real animal with two parallel spear-like horns and a face that has haunted scientists and conservationists since its discovery. This is the story of a race against time to find and save a species on the absolute brink of vanishing forever. A living legend we're in danger of losing before we ever truly get to know it. The story kicks off in 1992. A team of researchers was in the rugged, breathtaking Annamite Mountains that border Vietnam and Laos when they made a discovery that sent shockwaves through the zoological community. It wasn't a live animal they found, but something just as stunning. A skull, displayed in a local hunter's home. That skull had a pair of incredible horns, long, sharp, and almost perfectly parallel, belonging to no species known to science. It was the first time in over 50 years that a large mammal new to science had been discovered, something many thought wasn't possible anymore. The local people called it the Saola, which means spindle horns, a perfect description. The Saola is a beautiful, enigmatic creature. It stands about as tall as a German shepherd, with a stocky body, a rich brown coat, and startling white markings on its face that give it a masked look. It isn't a deer or an antelope. It's actually a primitive member of the cattle family, a true relic from a bygone era. And get this, genetic analysis shows just how unique the Saola is. It represents an entire branch on the tree of life that split off from its closest relatives, like bison and wild cattle, millions of years ago. It's the only surviving member of its genus, a living fossil walking the earth. This biological uniqueness makes its very existence precious. There's nothing else like the Saola on the planet, and every single one carries an irreplaceable piece of Earth's evolutionary history in its genes. Its extreme rarity and gentle nature quickly earned it the nickname, the Asian unicorn. But as science would soon learn, this unicorn was already a ghost. So how do you even find an animal that has barely been seen by science? The Annamite Mountains are a world of their own, a labyrinth of dense, wet forests and steep ravines. The terrain is so difficult that it has been described as claustrophobic, a place where even seasoned adventurers have been reduced to tears. This treacherous landscape is the Saola's sanctuary, but it's no longer safe. As quickly as the Saola appeared to the world, it began to disappear. The main threat isn't that it's being hunted directly. The Saola is so elusive it's rarely the target. The real danger is far more sinister: snares. Millions of cheap silent wire traps are set across the forests of Laos and Vietnam for animals like wild boar and deer to supply the illegal wildlife trade. These snares are indiscriminate. They create a deadly, invisible minefield across the forest floor, and the Saola, moving quietly through the undergrowth, becomes an accidental victim. This relentless pressure is creating what conservationists call empty forest syndrome, where a forest looks perfectly healthy from the outside but is virtually empty of large animals. On top of this, habitat loss is marching forward as forests are cleared for farming and roads, shrinking the Saola's already tiny home. This double whammy, a minefield of snares in a shrinking home, has pushed the Saola to the very edge. It is officially listed as critically endangered, the last stop before extinction in the wild. Experts believe there are fewer than 100 individuals left, and some fear the number could be in the low dozens, scattered across isolated pockets of forest. The true scale of the Saola's crisis is captured in one stark fact. In the more than 30 years since its discovery, no wildlife biologist has ever seen a Saola in the wild. Our entire knowledge is pieced together from a few camera trap photos, stories from local villagers, and the tragic instances where Saolas were captured, only to die shortly after. One of the most famous was a female named Martha, who survived for just a few weeks in captivity in Laos in 1996 before she died. Her brief time with humans offered a fleeting glimpse into the species, but also a painful lesson in how poorly they handle human presence. The last confirmed sighting of a Saola came in 2013, when a single, stunning image was captured by a WWF camera trap in Vietnam. It was a moment of pure joy for the conservation world, proof that the unicorn was still out there. But in the decades since that photograph, there has been nothing, a haunting silence. The search is like looking for a needle in a haystack that covers thousands of square kilometers of nearly impassable terrain. The IUCN has stated that only a tiny fraction of the Saola's potential habitat, maybe as little as 2%, has been properly searched. it's entirely possible the Saola still exists, moving like a phantom through remote valleys. But hope isn't a strategy. With every year that passes, the silence grows louder and the question becomes more urgent. Are we already too late? But in the face of this staggering challenge, a dedicated group of heroes refuses to give up. This is the quest for survival, led by organizations like the Saola Foundation and the IUCN's Saola Working Group, in partnership with the governments of Vietnam and Laos. Their mission is one of the most ambitious in modern conservation, to pull the Asian unicorn back from the brink. On the ground, brave teams of patrollers are dismantling the very snares that threaten the Saola, having removed hundreds of thousands of these deadly traps. Community outreach programs are working to raise awareness and reduce the demand for illegal wildlife meat, tackling the problem at its source. But protecting the habitat isn't enough. With the wild population so small, the consensus among experts is chillingly clear. The only hope for the Saola's long-term survival is a captive breeding program. The plan is audacious: find and capture the last remaining Saolas and bring them into a specialized, secure breeding center being built in Vietnam's Bac Ma National Park. It's not a surrender, it's a strategic rescue mission. Similar programs have saved species like the Arabian oryx and the California condor. The ultimate dream is to build a healthy population in captivity and one day reintroduce the Saola into a safe and protected wild. Finding the animals is the biggest hurdle, but today, the search is being armed with incredible new technology. Recent breakthroughs have given scientists a complete map of the Saola genome from old tissue samples. This genetic blueprint has revealed fascinating secrets. For example, we now know there are two distinct populations of Saola, a northern and a southern group, that separated thousands of years ago. To create a healthy future, the breeding program needs to find individuals from both. Scientists estimate a founding population of just 12 to 15 individuals might be enough to save the species. This genetic knowledge also unlocks a revolutionary search tool: environmental DNA, or eDNA. Teams can now test samples of soil, water from streams, or even the blood inside leeches to detect the faint genetic traces a Saola leaves behind. This lets them scan huge areas of forest far more effectively than ever before. In Laos, the Saola Foundation is deploying teams of trackers, some with expertly trained dogs, combined with these high-tech DNA detectors, in one of the most intensive wildlife searches of our time. They're focusing on the deepest, most remote habitats where the forest is still healthy enough to hide a ghost. The mission to save the Saola is happening right now. It's a story of hope and cutting-edge science against incredible odds. But its success depends not just on the people in the field, but on a global community of supporters. Share this story. The Saola is so unknown that one of the biggest threats it faces is simply being forgotten. By making its story heard, by telling the world about the Asian unicorn, you raise the awareness needed to fuel the fight for its survival. The Saola is more than just a rare animal. It's a symbol. It's a symbol of the wonders that can still lie hidden in the unexplored corners of our planet, and a reminder that we share this world with creatures of almost mythical beauty. But it is also a symbol of profound fragility. The Saola's story is a stark warning of what we stand to lose in this age of extinction. Its fate is a test of our commitment to protecting the planet's biodiversity. Saving the Asian unicorn won't be easy. It requires money, innovation, and unwavering persistence. But if we succeed, we save not just a species, but a piece of the world's natural magic. We prove that even when an animal is on the very edge, we can pull it back. The search for the last Saola continues, and with our help, we can ensure that this living legend walks the forests of Southeast Asia for generations to come. Thanks for watching. Kindly like and subscribe for more informative videos.